Hey guys, my name is Zach.
And I'm Dean.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. This is a weekly podcast where we talk about the things that matter to most of me in collecting. It's been a pretty short week. I think you were just here the other day, I think on Sunday. And it's Thursday, we're filming another podcast. All week it's really been bothering me because when you left my house, I thought we had a really good Ron Swanson.
Right.
And when you got home,
The
immediately,
second
you got home, you were like, dude,
we
something...
have a huge problem.
Literally, our Ron Swanson, we did the measurement. He was scaled to be like Darth Vader size. And I don't know how none of us caught it. I have like 5 Vaders.
Yeah, he was gigantic.
He was,
like a full head and a half over Andy.
Yeah. And so the problem stemmed from Ron being too tall, but also because Andy was way too short.
Body's too short. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, so from what I gather, Andy should be about 6'2", and Ron should be about 5'10", and I think the math comes out to be like 0.8 inches of difference between Ron and the taller height of Andy.
Right.
And I think it was like the other way around, where it was like almost a full inch and a quarter higher that Ron was than Andy. So you came here today, and we did some peg swapping, we did some dremeling, we did some gluing, and we did some padding. And I think we have a pretty satisfactory result.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I know last week I mentioned this was a project that could either take a day or could take a few weeks. I think we're leaning towards a few weeks now.
Yeah, you mentioned you're like, I'm lucky I gave it to you early because...
Yeah, I mean, I had to kind of like... It was kind of a miracle that you were able to come over today because we weren't expecting to hang out till like next weekend.
Right.
But I did find a nice blue dress shirt that was from a Logan kit from, I believe, Worldbox. And that complements this navy blue sweater a lot more. Yeah. I know this isn't super accurate to what Ron wears in the show. He wears a lot of...
he absolutely wears these.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, when he's not wearing a long sleeve polo, he's wearing a button up with a sweater over it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I felt kind of bad. I was like, I don't know, like if
no, it's 100% accurate.
Yeah, and so you also got some things for your Ron. I think we're trying to make like a kind of like a DX accessories line.
Yeah, just
with
do
Ron.
A bunch of cool little like niche items from the show.
So what do we have and what have you gotten? Let's go for each character. Let's start with Ron.
So we had an extra pair of shoes that I bought with the clothing.
And we painted those
and we
red.
were just sitting down eating last week.
And we were watching the Ron Swanson
the
greatest
best
quotes.
Of Ron's, yeah, and a video when he's babysitting the girls.
Tammy's kids.
Diane's kids.
Or Diane. Oh, Tammy's the bitch ex-wife.
Yeah. He's watching Diane's kids, and they're like painting his shoes. And literally at the same time,
we looked at each other.
Like, you know what we should do? And you're like, paint them red. You're like, let's do it.
And they came out really good. We gave it 3 coats of Vallejo Model Air Red through the airbrush.
Yeah.
And I mean, for what it is, like it's just gonna go on the base. I mean, it looks really great.
It's hilarious.
You also we're gonna pick up the Agent Mulder cell phone and a pistol that we're gonna paint gold.
Right from the opening of the show.
I think we're gonna get that this weekend. I think you said. I'm gonna put in a toy anxiety order, so we're gonna.
Payday's tomorrow. So.
Okay, cool. Let me know, and I'll put in that order.
And then I took it upon myself. I was like, man, what else could I get? We were kind of brainstorming. And then I was like, oh, if I could pull this off, I'm going to surprise the hell out of Zach.
Dude, I was shocked.
So I went to eBay and I typed in 1/6 saxophone and bam, there it was.
And it's really nice.
It's
like it has the
cool.
wooden, what's it called?
The reed.
The reed,
it has
an
actual wooden reed.
It's ridiculous. I mean, that shit looks super nice.
I think it's like a tad too big.
It looks like one
5.8
scale.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a tiny bit big.
And then we got his watch,
which I'm gonna redo the dial on. We're working on the Swanson Pyramid of Greatness, and then we need the easel for that.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for Ron.
How much is that easel?
That's like $13.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually see if I can print the Pyramid of Greatness on cardstock next week.
Okay.
For you. For Andy, I know you have the FBI jacket, you have the karate suit, you have the guitar with the case.
Yeah, I bought a guitar.
And I think you said we wanted to print some stickers. Not stickers, but like...
decals.
Sort of like Easter egg decals,
yeah,
remember?
In fact, I brought the guitar case because I don't know if it would work if we could stick those on there.
Well, so what I want to do is instead of decals is maybe use paper and Mod Podge them on there. Like you do with... for my daughter... we got this different printed paper. Her name is Vivian, so Vivi, and each letter has a different print. And the Mod Podge matte comes out like, I mean, it's smooth. Like, you can't tell that you did anything like that to it. I think that might work. I don't want to mess with it too much, but I'm going to do like a test piece on a piece of plastic and see if it looks good.
Well, I was just the material, if you want to grab it. It's
okay.
Under that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that might work. That actually might work better for the decal, actually. Yeah, so that's going to be great. We're going to put a bunch of Easter eggs for the...
Sweet
and don't recall Leslie Knope with the sticker. And
recall, no.
Don't. So, but there's a question mark.
Why don't you just put the don't in front of recall? Yeah, that's a better idea.
We're going to put a bunch of Easter eggs in. And my favorite thing with customs like that is doing these little Easter eggs. Things that no one's going to see that you'll know are there.
Or people that really love the show be like, oh my God.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
like, for them, it's a treat.
Yeah.
Because I was also looking at the landmine or the...
Well, I think we were going to do like an Entertainment 720 thing. And then we're looking at the Claymore for Ron. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many things that we can do for the... for this thing, and I was telling you it would be cool if we made a box for it for each character, but I think that might be going a little bit too far down the rabbit hole. But I think this has a lot of potential, because the thing is, like, these two figures are going to go on a shelf, and it's like, I mean, unless you're making like a Leslie Knope or, like another Parks and Rec character, you're not really going to be able to add anything but stuff related to the show to the shelf. Right. The shelf. So that's why we need to like really fill this shelf with, some stuff that's relevant to the show.
Right.
Maybe you get like a DVD box or something like that and put it behind it, or some people do that. I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this podcast, obviously I'm on YouTube, because this podcast is on YouTube. Now, I know that's kind of unorthodox, and I'm working to find a more permanent place to host. I've tried Mixcloud, SoundCloud. I really need to try to find something, because neither of those options really worked. SoundCloud was great, but since our podcast, I think it's like 5 hours or 6 hours for free. And since our podcasts, I mean, last week's was 30 minutes. I don't know how long this week is going to be, but sometimes when you and I get together, it's like we're pushing an hour, 5 hour, 10 minutes. And that, I hate having to delete old podcasts to fit new ones.
Right, yeah.
Because sometimes you just want to binge listen to podcasts.
Right.
And so YouTube lets me do that. And I'm going to look into iTunes. I'm going to look into some other places to put them on. But for now, I think YouTube's fine. For me personally, I do a lot of visual projects, like custom work. And I think it would be great to have YouTube, because
you can put it in the
slide. Put a tutorial of that Darth Vader repaint, and like that I don't think you would have been able to get from pictures or from me describing it through a podcast.
Well, I thought you meant let's just say we're talking about Ron and Johnny Karate here. In the YouTube video, at that timestamp, you just start putting photos of what we're talking about.
That sounds like a lot of work.
That does sound like a lot of work.
That could be the next level. Although, to be honest, now that we have the ring light from our hashtag FBCLSA Facebook Community Leaders San Antonio group, it'd be cool if we did a video podcast, because I have a webcam. So it'd be cool if we did a video podcast. We could show off what we're talking about live. Just an idea, because we are doing it on YouTube. But my first video went up. It was a sort of a tutorial painting the Kyoto Vader helmet. And I will say, I've talked a lot of shit about painting tutorials I've seen on YouTube in my head. I'm not like a dick and say it out loud. And I'm always like, man, this camera angle sucks. Like, this guy's doing the work, but it's not even in frame. That shit is infinitely harder than it looks. To keep the stuff in frame and to paint it well and paint it accurately, it was a nightmare. So my first tutorial, I think it was okay. I think I have a lot of room to grow.
How long was it?
So the initial footage that I took was about 32 minutes long. And the final edited was about 5 minutes and 15 seconds long. And I think I should have made it about 6 minutes long, because there's some parts where I really wanted to go a little bit more in depth and I couldn't because of the time. But it was a good first video. I mean, I have the part 2 to that video coming out this Sunday.
Ooh.
And that's going to be focusing on my favorite product, which we used today quite a bit, which is the Illuminite Amazing Mold Putty.
That stuff is amazing.
That stuff is no lie, like, if you're going to be customizing figures, I think you need a Dremel, like, for sure. I think you need some super glue, because to good super glue like Loctite or Zap-A-Gap or Gorilla Glue. I like Gorilla Glue gel personally. And then I think the third thing that every customizer needs is this Illuminite mold putty. Blue tack definitely has its uses, and I'll be the first to tell you that I like some blue tack from time to time. But I've found in my experience that with blue tack over time, like I'm talking 2, 3, 4, 5 months, that it can actually start to leach oil onto your things that you're adhering together. And I've also found that it can dry out and get really firm and actually remove some paint when you remove it. Now, this Illuminite mold putty is silicone. It's a 2-part. You combine it to make the silicone. And silicone doesn't stick to anything but silicone. So
yeah, it almost
as long
doesn't
as,
even stick to the joints.
Yeah, and so what it does is it creates a pressure fit. It's actually not sticking at all. It's just
right.
if you fill, let's say, a head sculpt and you wedge in the ball joint, you're just widening that, the volume of stuff, and it's just pressure fit in there.
Yeah.
And
which is nice because sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want this in here.
You pop it out, and then you can pop it right back in too.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I used it this week for my Darth Vader helmet, mounting the mask to the body, mounting the dome to the mask, mounting Ron's head to his body, and this week I've used it for ankle joints and wrist joints for figures that I've modified their bodies.
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff. I mean, I really, really like that stuff. I've talked to some friends of mine. They want me to try to do some really involved tutorials. I know I was talking to John from Tashi Station. Shout out to that group. He wanted me to do an airbrushing tutorial, and I want to try to do it, but in very small segments, because airbrushing is really an entire hobby on its own, and it's one of those things where it's like how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Because I could show basic 5 minutes of airbrushing, which like I've taught you before, like how to just do a quick prime real quick, right. And it's pretty straightforward. But when you start getting into like masking and detail work and sort of like building up layers and opacity and PSI and thinners, and it just gets really bogged down. And with this video, I really want to be able to just show a bunch of small projects as opposed to like really large arching tutorials. Because I have seen some really good airbrushing tutorials on YouTube, but they're like an hour long. And for me, like, I don't got time to do that. Yeah. So I just got to figure out what I can do and what's realistic. I have a Royal Guard, the red one from Kenner coming in, I think, tomorrow. And I'm going to be messing with it potentially on the channel. If it turns out good, I'll film it. And if it doesn't turn out good, I'll scrap it. I'm really wanting to get the Hot Toys one. Update on the Senate Guard for me. I've talked to a tailor, Allison, I believe her name was Allison Taylor, and she had done several outfits that I've seen. The most recent one was Daniel Burtis's Thrawn outfit. She tailored that, and I showed her some samples of the work that I would like to have had done, and the quote she gave me, for the fabric was acceptable, and then for the tailoring was really great. And I think she's kind of booked with her commissions. I think she does that full time with different hobbies. I think she does I think it's called Jam Dolls, and it's a real big following. And so she's going to fit me in, I think, late October, early November. Cool. And I'm really excited because I don't think Hot Toys is going to make a Senate Guard ever. And if they do, it might be that's not hot on the list. So if I can get a Senate Guard that's tailored and like drapes really well and looks really nice, it would be cool to have that with Chancellor Palpatine next to the Emperor with the Royal Guard from Hot Toys. I think that'd be really cool. I feel like my Senate Guard custom looks great, but it'll definitely look out of place next to the Hot Toys.
You don't think she could do a red polo, do you?
I think she could, actually. I mean, that could also be something we consider. The only thing is, for her, I know I'll be sending her the body, so that way she can fit it exactly to the existing thing that we have. So you might have to send out your Ron head and body to get it tailored.
Yeah.
Again, don't quote me. I'm not sure. I mean, I've seen her make all kinds of things, so I would not be surprised if she couldn't do it or could do it.
I probably want to get a different body. No.
I think this body's fine. I mean,
well, if you're gonna show joints with a red short sleeve polo.
Oh, I get what you're saying, like a muscle tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Andy body.
Yeah, we can look into that. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. I know I had told you guys in our group chat this week that I wanted to find a tailor,
Yeah.
and I was really fortunate to have gotten in contact with Allison because a lot of these tailors that are overseas, they make great work and it's fairly well priced. But a lot of these guys are booked, and she was nice enough to mention that she might be able to squeeze me in between some batch runs that she was doing. So
Right.
that was super, super awesome. One thing that I saw on Tashi that I think I'd like to discuss with you because we're both Tashi members
Right.
is the whole drama of buying and selling online.
Oh my god.
Now, I've personally never have had an issue selling or buying until this week. I've done about 450 eBay transactions, and then for 1.6 locally, I've done about 50, and then shipping, I've done maybe about 15 to 20 figures. I buy and sell quite a bit.
Yeah. For sure.
The only time I ever really felt inadequate as a seller, this was resolved very quickly, but I had sold a Stormtrooper to my good buddy PJ on Tashi Station. And when I went to pack them up, I realized that the art sleeve, that little trifold with the graphic of the figure and like the MMS number that covers the figure in the box,
Yeah.
that was missing and I couldn't find it. And, when I got the figure, I had gotten it from a friend and like I didn't box it, like I just picked it up from his house. And I don't when you buy stuff from me, sometimes I just say like, if you want, I can box it or you can just take it on the stand, and usually take it on the stand. And it was resolved really quickly. I gave him like $15 off what he already paid, and I was glad because I was like, oh my god, like I don't want to look like an idiot. But
Which
other
you
than
struggle with daily.
absolutely. But this week I had my first issue, and I was so annoyed with it because essentially what had happened was I found a really great deal on a James Earl Jones PSA DNA certified 8x10 quote unquote officially licensed Star Wars photograph. And the guy was in Texas, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
He was listing it for $29.99 with $3 shipping,
So bad.
which is really good because some of the other autographs that I was looking at with James Earl Jones were about $50 to $83.
Jeez.
The $50 one that I saw was almost like a behind the scenes photograph. It wasn't from the film, and it was in black and white. Beautiful autograph. There was no COA though, and it kind of bothered me that it was in black and white and that it wasn't a screen still from the film.
Right.
But the autograph looked really great. This one, the autograph looked okay, and but it had the COA, it had the DNA PSA number, and it was from the shot where the Emperor arrives in Return of the Jedi, right before Vader greets the Emperor, where it's like him and the Admiral and all the troopers behind him and the
Right.
guards.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like one of the most iconic Vader scenes. That's right at the beginning of Return of the Jedi, or somewhere in Return of the Jedi. And so I'd gotten it, and a little background, it was a little wet that day, but I don't think that affected anything, but it was kind of drizzling that day. My postman put it underneath my front door, which is, covered. And so I opened it, and I immediately noticed there was a glossy spot on the print. So I thought, okay, it's probably condensation. The mailer was a little bit wet, but it's in a sealed plastic envelope. I opened that, and I set it in the frame. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely not condensation because
It would have gone.
gone through, or you would have seen and felt the texture that was different. So I took a picture and I sent it to the seller, and I told him, I just got this print. Here's kind of how it came to me. Here's what I've done. Here's what it's looking as, and here's what I've observed about this particular spot. Is this something that you noticed? Maybe it was damaged in shipping, or maybe it was something maybe you hadn't noticed in the auction. And he said, very short, I didn't notice anything. So I said, okay, that's fine. His pictures were very vague, and this imperfection is something that, if you're looking at it straight on like his pictures were, you don't see it. But if you go a little bit to the right, you'll see it. A little bit to the left, you don't see it. And so I asked him, can you recommend any sort of cleaning products? And, because I told him, I really like this print. I don't want to return it because that was an option given to me on eBay. And I think it's a fair price, so I don't want to ask for any money back, being totally respectful, totally not being a dick, and I think sometimes I can come off like that, but I was actually being quite respectful. This guy had like 5,000, 100% rating, whatever. And he said, you might have helped me here, but he said, when I can't find an answer to something I'm looking for, Google's usually a good help, or something like that.
Yeah, real condescending.
And I said, okay, and I was like, well, clearly you're selling a lot of autographed photos, which means I assume you're a collector because you're selling your collection. Any advice, anywhere I can start from? And he just said, never seen nothing like that. So immediately I was like, fuck this guy. Like, clearly, like, if he had listed it as damaged and displayed the damage, honestly, I probably would have paid $30 for that, because I mean, it's PSA, it's certified, fairly good condition, good screenshot, fairly decent autograph. But the fact that he didn't disclose it and then like blew it off like, oh, you're an idiot,
Right.
So I hit him with that negative feedback. He hasn't written negative feedback for me yet, so I think he might have known that he fucked up. But just being a total asshole. And I went to a few groups, and there was a few people that were really helpful, suggesting some matte frames. But man, it was a nightmare. I know a good friend of mine, who I won't disclose his name, had an issue a few months ago where he had sold something to a guy.
Oh, Dennis? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. He had sold something to a guy, and the guy was not happy with one spot on the figure's finger.
Oh,
A tiny little spot. And he started a PayPal claim, and the PayPal claim went south. I won't really disclose why. I think there's fault on both parties. But eventually PayPal sided with the buyer and said that, hey, we're going to pull this money out of this dude's account, regardless if it makes it negative, and you're free to keep this figure. You have no obligation to return it. And that guy had decided that that's what he was going to do, and he kept like a $400 figure basically, even though the seller had offered many times to pay for the return shipping before it got to that point. Have you had any issues? I mean, to me, like, it's just crazy. Like, sellers are not protected. And when I was dealing with this guy with this print, I feel like there was an assumption by this guy that I had damaged it and was trying to scam him. And I thought that's why he might have been short with
Which
it.
is weird, because you said, I don't want to return it.
Exactly.
I don't want any money back.
Exactly.
I just want advice.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure...
Because, I mean, do you sell a lot
No.
shipping? You do mostly local.
I've
pickup.
only sold 2 things on eBay.
Uh-huh.
But I was going to say, I'm sure with 5,000 plus sales on his eBay page, someone's probably tried to fuck him.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the line. So he's probably real hesitant with everybody emailing him.
Yeah.
But it's like, shit, dude, like, you're obviously not trying to get money back or return it after damaging it. You're just looking for advice. Why not just help out a dude? Jesus.
Yeah, and I'll have to show you the autograph. I mean, it displays really well. I was kind of fortunate because the way that I have my autographs, if you imagine a square, and you walk in at the front of the square, my desk is to the back left of the square. My autographs are pretty much right next to where my desk starts. And so I'll never be able to see that unless I'm kind of like really leaning over my desk, looking up towards the light. Like, it's pretty specific to see that issue. And so I'm thankful. And not only that, but it's Return of the Jedi Vader, so there's a lot of gloss on the shoulder pad.
Right.
And that hides a lot of it too.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
some of it is on the cape, which is black. So it really doesn't stand out that much.
Yeah.
It was like
yeah, I've only sold 2 things on eBay, and I've been super fortunate enough to never have an issue. But yeah, I usually try and deal locally.
And that's why I like our group, our 16 San Antonio, because we really stress in our group, condition and meeting up in a safe location. And
yeah, just be honest about what the hell you're selling.
we had to bounce someone in our group this week. We're Sydney and I are both the administrators of this Facebook group, and it's really a good thing, I think, for this San Antonio community, because we do get-togethers, we do social events, we do many number of things. Like when Zach got injured last year, we all pitched in and got him a clone trooper.
Yeah.
When I moved into my house, a bunch of people came over and gave me housewarming gifts. And
That was 2 years ago.
No, it was like July.
Zach got hurt too.
Oh, 2 years ago. I was like, it was like two months ago. And but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I guess for Christmas, like 2 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
2 Christmases ago. We do get-togethers where we like bring figures and trade them and sell and show them off and presentations and. But the big thing with our group is like we just don't deal with any BS, and so we had to bounce someone this week for flaking on a deal, and I mean it's really awkward because like, you know, I get it, like when you're buying $400 figures, like sometimes like something comes up and like you have to delay a little bit, but like,
Yeah,
because this was for $400 worth of figures.
It's not like buying a Marvel Legend where it's $20, where it's like all you have to do is fucking look in your couch cushion and you'll find $20.
Nothing against Marvel Legends, but this is big money.
This is big money, and $50 really makes a difference.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I needed to fill my car up with gas, it's like that cuts in to the amount of money that you need to buy these figures.
Yeah.
And, you know, we usually give people benefit of the doubt. Like, hey, this is an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Like,
this,
you got to be real sure. And even if you're not, like, people aren't outrageous or
yeah, I would say in the 2 years we've had the group, this is the third member we've had to remove for this. So it's not like we're just, like, banning people left and right.
Yeah, I'm sure if you had it your way, you would ban everybody all the time.
No, I'm very level-headed.
You like to ban.
I am.
You're ban happy.
I'm not a ban. Sydney and I also admin another group, and
No, fuck, yeah.
we just don't take a lot of garbage from people. I think people will walk all over you, you know?
Well, especially with, like I said, with those toys in that group, this is not, they're not, I don't know why people think they're collectible. They're not.
Like the Marvel Legends?
Marvel Legends.
Oh, they're not Hot Toys. I was like,
Marvel
fairly
Selects,
collectible.
or like even like, I mean, I guess Hot Wheels are kind of crazy, but we don't really deal with Hot Wheels. But
The Funko.
it's like,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
Funko Pops. It's like, you know, they make hundreds of thousands of these. Like, they're not rare.
Yeah.
You only think they're rare because you haven't found it in the store yet. Give it 6 months and they're everywhere. That new Deadpool wave,
Get out of town. You can find
they're
it everywhere.
stocked everywhere to the brim. It's like, and Deadpool sells.
Yeah.
Everything Deadpool always sells. And if you wait long enough, you find this shit. That's why I stopped clamoring for Star Wars Black Series,
Uh-huh.
which I really enjoy collecting.
Dude, ever since they got the new face prints, they look fucking sick.
I'm 100% serious. That General Veers is the best Black Series figure.
So let's
I've
talk
ever
about
seen.
it. Let's talk about it. So
Dude.
okay, so before we get into it, I know it has the combat armor. Is it the back also?
Yeah, it's full
I'll
on.
need you to send me a picture of the back because I want to use it as a reference to my Thrawn.
Oh, dude, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a Walgreens
exclusive.
exclusive. Okay.
Yeah, so you take off his hat,
Uh-huh.
and then it clips around him, and then the belt seals it.
Ooh.
And then you put his combat helmet on.
Yeah.
And you put the pistol in. But in turn, just like detail and accessories, and like he's always, I mean, he's a badass. He fucking takes down Echo Base. Like,
Yeah.
it's just is a cool figure. I don't think I've ever like taken one out and looked at it and been like, this
Yeah.
is.
Because NYCC they showed a bunch of new stuff like Grievous and Anakin and
Yeah,
Clone Wars
you know,
Obi-Wan.
they're cool.
But
I
I mean,
like I said,
honestly, like I don't think I will ever collect Black Series again.
Yeah.
But there's a Kira, a Han, and a Lando that have been pegworming at my Walmart for like 4 weeks. And one of these days, like if they get like $9, like I'll probably pick up all three because they look so good. Like the face printing
Yeah.
is, I mean, because the thing is like Figuarts were always a thing at like $50,
Right.
and you know Hasbro was 20. And for the longest time, I would argue with people on the internet like, okay, well, like the $30 gets you the digital face printing, a little bit crisper articulation. You know, it's a little bit more hidden. But man, Hasbro keeping it $20 with the face printing, like, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
and honestly, I mean, in terms of articulation, I'm not doing anything fucking crazy with my figures. You know what I mean?
I mean, Black Series you can get into pretty good poses.
Yeah.
I
And-
would say they're more posable than Figuarts.
Yeah, because they'll hold a pose. They're not so delicate.
Yeah.
I love the Black Series line, like I said, but back to what I was saying, like, I find them all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, give it some time
Yeah.
and you'll find it. You don't have to pay scalper prices. Now, there are a few exceptions, like Darth Revan, when he came out.
I never found that one.
He was
that
a GameStop exclusive, but now
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know
Hasbro released
solid case.
solid case of Revan. Now I think Best Buys are stocking him.
Oh.
So it's like and now they're coming out with Anakin's again, and that's like $100 figure.
Dude, they need to remake the pilot Luke. That'd be pretty cool.
They are.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that one's a nice figure
they're-
because there's that X-wing that can fit that guy.
Yeah, so there's a new, it's a new wave. It's not.
It's like the best of Black Series.
Yeah,
That's
so
not
it's-
that's not what it's called, but that's basically
Yeah,
what
it's
it is.
Boba Fett, Bosk, IG-88, and X-wing Luke.
Ew, why Bosk and IG?
I don't know,
That's a nightmare.
but it's like those are all four of those are very expensive figures.
Yeah, and I know, oh, dude, I was so pissed when I went to Walmart this week. I've been really looking for the vintage collection Dr. Aphra, which is
Yeah, me too.
3.75.
Oh, dude, I want
if you,
that so
If you
bad.
find an extra one.
Same.
Yeah. And I missed it last week, and I missed it this week, but I really want one so bad. Gravity Damage, which is a local store here in town, said that they might be getting some, and I need that figure. Dr. Aphra is like, oh my gosh. Like that, to me, like if I could, the next custom I'd like to make is a Dr. Aphra. I've looked into it about 5 times, and I can't find the right head. I really don't know how I'm going to do the tattoos, and the outfit is just all over the place. And
Yeah,
so it's just something that I've seen one guy do it on, what is it, Imgur or whatever, like some random dude or his Pinterest. And it looks great, but man, that would be cool with my Darth Vader.
That card is, the artwork is
Exactly.
amazing.
And I feel so annoyed that I missed out on the Hasbro 3-pack
Yeah.
of her
with the
000
droids.
BT.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like a bad day that it came out, where they go live after the con. And
Yeah. I mean,
But-
it's, that 3-pack gets kind of expensive.
it's like $50. I mean, when it came out, it was already really expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, for me at least, like that was.
Yeah, but I'm at aftermarket.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
it's
people are selling for like $80 to $100. It's like,
I'm never gonna get that.
yeah, there's a few figures that I'll spend that kind of money on, but it's rare.
Yeah. Speaking of Vader, I know last week we had forgot to talk about this, and right when we stopped, you
Oh yeah.
about the helmet.
I even said it. I was like, as soon as we stop recording, I'm gonna remember what I wanted to talk to you about.
So I haven't gotten the helmet yet. I found where I'm gonna put it, and it's just a matter of paying it off. I've already
A
paid.
case or
No, a case would be too large.
Okay.
It's gonna be open air, and I'm just gonna dust it frequently. I know where I'm gonna put it. I have the mounting solution for how I want to mount it and the post for it. It's just a matter of paying it off. My wife has said she's gonna give me some money here and there to pay it off, and usually for my job I get a $300 Christmas bonus every year, and that would obviously pay it off. And with that being said, now that we've righted our wrongs from the last episode, I hate when that happens. That's
Yeah.
like the 3rd time that it's happened with us, where we get lost in the middle of a podcast.
Right.
And this one, it was like 2 a.m. when we were finishing up, so we're like, all right, we'll think about it later. But that's been this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. We'll have a video, I think, coming up Sunday of tips and tricks with the 2-part mold.
Yeah.
And hopefully either I'll be back by myself next week, or Sydney will join me, or maybe we'll have another guest call in.
Yeah.
See you guys next week. Have a great week of collecting, and we'll catch you on the next video.
See you guys.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.